Komisija odobravanja ulazak u luku Split.
Kako je lijepo vratit se doma. I miss these people so much. These people who feel everything deeply. These people who welcome you like you've always belonged here. The ones who celebrate loudly, laugh easily, and never let you feel like a stranger. I've missed the way life happens outside, in the streets, on the river, over long coffees that somehow last for hours. The way strangers become friends in a single conversation. The way the city moves slowly until the moment it explodes with passion. Here, every moment is shared. Every victory is louder. Every sunset feels like it belongs to everyone. And that's when you realize it was never just the city I missed. It was the feeling of being part of it. Welcome to Split. Make it count.
5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
Good afternoon! Good afternoon, Erasmus generation. How are you feeling? Welcome to Croatia. Dobrodošli. My name is Lina Mohoric. I am 27 years old and I come from the north coast of Croatia, from a city called Rijeka. Some of you might know me as one of the former members of ESN International's board. More specifically, I was the communication manager from 2023 until 2025. Thank you. I cannot even begin to express how lovely it is to see the Erasmus generation in my home country. Especially because this is my 5th EGM, so I have literally seen it all. I've seen all of them. And we covered quite a few important topics over the past couple of years. And now the time has come to talk about something that often gets overlooked. The skills and competences gained while studying abroad or by volunteering in an international organization are an invaluable quality that each member of the Erasmus generation has, each one of you. And yet, we ourselves are sometimes not aware of them, or maybe we just don't acknowledge or cherish them enough. I know I haven't. Since my early school days, and some of you might relate to this, I have had a fear of public speaking. The nervousness would take over me, my throat would go dry, I would lose track of my thoughts and words. And of course I had to fight this fear throughout my education, throughout my life, but it was not until I joined the Erasmus Student Network that I started purposely challenging myself to do what scared me. And here I am now, speaking in front of more than 1,000 of you at the opening of the biggest student-led conference in Europe. After experiencing internationalization at home through volunteering in ESN, I was one of these people who first joined ESN and then went on Erasmus. I went on my first mobility, finally. Is there anyone here from the Czech Republic? Beautiful Prague became my home away from home. And even though it happened during the pandemic, it was still one of the most important experiences in my life. Another one of those was my exchange through European Solidarity Corps. I hope you heard about it before. And it was in Brussels, Belgium. There I had the pleasure of working at the headquarters of ESN International. HQ, are you here? Needless to say, student mobility truly does shape a person and their skills, both hard and soft skills. And this is what we want to talk about during the next 4 days with all of you. So please bring your experiences and ideas to the table, because this is a unique moment for you to make connections, network, widen your and others' horizons, but most importantly, shape better student mobility and its recognition together. As ambitious as we are in ESN, we like to raise the bar for ourselves every year. And with that being said, are you ready to make this EGM the best one yet? Amazing. That is the music to my ears. ESN volunteers might be one of the best mobility ambassadors I have ever seen. But student mobility would still not be possible without the universities opening their doors to international students and by giving their local students the opportunity to gain new perspectives by going abroad. And just like this collaboration between ESN and higher education institutions makes student mobility a success, it also made the 5th edition of EGM come to life. During the next couple of days, you will listen to inspiring speeches, learn from one another, create new alliances and friendships, and so much more. And you will do so while roaming around the halls of the University of Split. So I would like to invite the Vice Rector of University of Split to share his welcome words. Please give a round of applause for Zoran Jogash.
Thank you, Lena. Fear of public speech. I'm 60 now and I still have it. My role is actually to welcome you here to Split on behalf of the University of Split, our rector, Professor Dragan Ljutić, the whole management, the staff, and in particular, 18,500 students of the University of Split. With you present here, we have about 20,000 students right now. This is a great number. Also, we are members of the CEU Alliance, so I need to also welcome you to Split. University of Split is the proud member of the Alliance from Bude in Norway, Gdansk in Poland, Kiel in Germany, Brest in France, Cadiz or Cadiz in Spain, Algarve in Portugal, Partenope, Naples in Italy, Malta, University of Malta, and then University of Split. So this is a big team, very enthusiastic and very proud. This is the second round of our collaboration, 8 years almost, and now we are looking forward to collaborate in the future. In Split we have two S's. Major things are the sea, the sun, and now we have the students. So thank you actually for putting Split on this map. And I need to say, you know, one of the biggest surprises, you know, to me in general was when our International Relations Office and the whole university received one information. I'm talking about the information, I'm not talking about rewards, although we feel this is a reward. Last summer, before taking vacation, there was one of the ranking lists, WURI, World University Ranking for Innovation, that puts University of Split in 16 categories, very high, on the number 79 in general, overall. But then in the category A2, which is this one, mobility and openness, you know what is the position of the University of Split? Number 1. So I need to thank all our students. There is about 1,000 mobilities this year, 550 incoming, and 450 outgoing. So we are talking about 1,000 students, you know, this academic year in mobility. This is one of the reasons, you know, for this, what I shared with you. I would like to thank the organizers. ESN is doing a great job, both international board, but also the local organizers. You made it already. Congratulations to all of you, and big round of applause for them. I know next week is going to be a rebound, you know, you need some time for recovery, but if you need any advices about sleep or something, you know, come to us. I'm a medical doctor, you know, sleep specialist, so you know, this is open invitation, it will not cost you anything. Thank you. And of course, at the end, our final message is great to have you here in Split, great to support all the information that I shared with you. It made us very proud, and I strongly believe in our future together. And my last point is, we have different forms of mobilities. And of course, if you want to put it in two groups, there is a virtual one that is growing up, and the other one is in person. I know it's difficult, but meeting you in person is something that I appreciate much more. So thank you for being here with us in person. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Vice Rector and the University of Split. We talked about the impact of ESN, and we also talked about the importance of the collaboration between ESN and higher education institutions. But we are still missing one crucial ingredient to truly make student mobility accessible, inclusive, and unforgettable. Because mixing these three ingredients is what makes the perfect Erasmus destination of the year. I heard we have 5 incredible finalists for the 2026 title here with us today. So you already know what's coming. I want to hear you cheer for Munich, Germany. What about Turin, Italy? Can I hear it for Santander, Spain? Give me a scream for Istanbul, Turkey. And last but not least, Gothenburg, Sweden. from what I hear, we all believe that the city plays quite an important role in a student's journey. It becomes their home away from home, the place they will always stay drawn to and keep on coming back to. And Split has been that place for hundreds of students throughout so many years already. With that being said, please welcome to the stage the head of the Public Relations and International Cooperation Office of the City of Split, Ružica Đonlić.
There's a lot of way to go. Hi, everyone. Where is your energy now? Thank you. So, dear participants, dear Erasmus students, distinguished guests, welcome to the beautiful Split, a city of encounters, a city of open minds, and a city where you can exchange great ideas. It is a great pleasure for the city of Split to host the Erasmus Generation Meeting and to welcome participants from all across Europe. Your energy, let me hear your energy. Your knowledge and your willingness to connect is what truly gives meaning to this program and help build a strong, more connected Europe. The city of Split is proud to support this event, and we hope you will feel not only welcome here, but truly a part of our community. I wish you inspiring discussions, new friendships, and experiences you will carry with you long after this event. And may Split remain a place you will always remember with a big smile. Welcome and enjoy everything that lies ahead. Thank you very much.
What? Thank you. potekla Duslava studena, pa se poljem razlila cetina. Dan, 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 dan. Vodu cura molila, da bi drago ljubila, a joj pjesmu najlepšu pjevala. Oj, Cetina rode, daj mi malo vode, da se duša napije tvoje vode studene. Oj, Cetina rijeko, moje dragi preko, pismu moju ne čuje, pusti njega do mene. Pismu moju ne čuje, pusti njega do mene. Dan, 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 dan. Sadinare potekla bistra voda studena, a se poljem razlila cetina. Dan, 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 dan. Vodu cura molila, da bi draga ljubila, a joj pjesmu najlepšu pjevala. Oj, Cetino rode, daj mi malo vode, da se duša napije tvoje vode studene. Oj, Cetino rijeko, moje dragi preko, pismu moju ne čuje, pusti njega do mene. Pismu moju ne čuje, pusti njega do mene. Dan, 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 dan. Sadinare potekla bistra voda studena. Dan, 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 dan. Zlatni konci litnje zore, došli su u njene dvore, da bi moju ljubav budili. Svitlo nek joj ljubi lice, lipo kao cesarice, kad je ja ne mogu zlatna mriža njenog tila, dušu mi je uvatila, da je baci nazad u more. Svake noći prije zore, dolazim u njene dvore, bile dvore moje pokore. Života, ja sam ti, ja samo nju, da do njenog srca nađem put. Cijelega života moje bilo je bez nje, kad sviće bez vode. Zlatna mriža njenog bila, dušu mi je uvatila, da je baci nazad u more. Svake noći prije zore, dolazim u njene dvore, bile dvore moje pokore. Života, ja sam ti, ja samo nju, să naștem zile gațima ta pojetilo jebesnie kad sviće bez vode zile ga života pojetilo jebesnie kad sviće bez vode.
The vocal performance you heard just now is a special music form originating from Dalmatia, the region of Croatia we are currently in. This traditional form of a cappella singing is called klapa, and it is protected by UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. Please give another round of applause for Sinjska klapa. One of the main responsibilities of ESN is promoting mobility, because we want everyone to know about the opportunities that are available to them. And what better way to do that than by storytelling, sharing personal experiences, and peer-to-peer knowledge exchange. Who here ever, or you think you ever, convinced someone to go on mobility? Okay, I see some hands up, I hear some screams. So there you go. If you at least sent one person on mobility, can you imagine what kind of impact that already had on that one person's life? For many years now, ESN Croatia has been nurturing a collaboration to do exactly that, to boost the promotion of mobility all across Croatia. And this collaboration with the Erasmus Plus National Agency has allowed us to work hand in hand towards internationalization and towards making Croatia a better mobility destination. Please welcome to the stage the Director of Agency for Mobility and EU Programs of Croatia, Antonija Gladović.
Hello, hello, hello. So I was wondering how to greet you. Like, are you guests? Are you participants? Are you collaborators? But then, you know, feeling this beautiful energy within this room, I realized that I feel like I'm in a family gathering. So welcome, members of the Erasmus family. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to welcome you here in Split, beautiful sunny Split, and I really do hope you will enjoy the next few days. I come from Zagreb, and the agency is established and situated in Zagreb, but we also like to come to Split, you know, so everybody likes to come to Split, and thank you, Split crew, for hosting us in this event. Now, it is so impressive and so inspiring to have like more than 1,000 of you here today, and it really shows that, I mean, you are the testament that the Erasmus program is not a program, it's not a financial mechanism, it's actually a living community. So thank you for being a part of this beautiful living community, and I do hope that as Erasmus ambassadors, you will, you know, spread the word and make this community grow today and in the future. Now, thank you. As the National Croatian Erasmus Plus agency, I'm sure you know what we do. We give money, you know, we finance. Yes, yes, we finance all your mobilities. We make it happen. And although, you know, some say that, you know, Erasmus is a program where students just go abroad and they party, we know that you play hard, but you also work hard. And I will not talk about the program itself, the Erasmus Plus or the European Solidarity Corps, because Lina actually said it all. She is the true ambassador of the both programs. And for me, always, the Erasmus, I'm so proud that I can actually work on the Erasmus, that I can support all you young people and then even the seniors, you know, participating in the program, to have new opportunities, to grow, to build your resilience, to build your flexibility, to build your CVs, to network, to fall in love, to travel, you know, to grow professionally and personally. So this is a huge asset for me personally and for all my colleagues in the agency. When I was a student, like, you know, quite many years ago, Croatia was not part of the Erasmus Plus program. And we as students, we were so envious and jealous, you know, of our European colleagues, because Erasmus did exist at that time, but we were not able to participate. So now I am really proud that all of European youth can actually participate in this lovely program, and that you learn so many things through volunteering, through mobility, but what's most important is that you learn how to be responsible European citizens. Because this is what Europe needs today, this is what is the priority of Europe today, and this is the direction in which Europe and Erasmus should grow in the future. Now, when we mention volunteering, I would also like to thank all, I don't know, dozens or tens or hundreds of volunteers that made this event happen. So one big round of applause for them, please. They deserve it because they invested their time, energy, and skills to make this happen. On that note, I would also like to congratulate the Erasmus Student Network of Croatia. This charter is actually our really good friend, I would say, and collaborator. We have been working together for many years. They are our ambassadors in the field, and I hope that our cooperation can be a good practice example for all the other countries and for the other Erasmus Student Network charters. So I'll stop here. Thank you once again for coming. Enjoy the 3 days that you are spending here. You will discuss very many topics, but don't only discuss them, challenge them. We need you to challenge them. We need you to fight for a better Erasmus Plus in the future, more inclusive and available to everybody. Thank you for coming.
Student mobility and engagement are increasingly recognized as key drivers for skills development and personal growth. This is why the theme of this year's EGM is shaping skills through student mobility. As education systems and labor markets, as we know, continue to evolve, there is a growing need to better understand how can experiences such as studying abroad, volunteering, or simply active participation in student organizations shape adaptable, skilled, and engaged individuals. And this is where Erasmus Plus comes into play, because it is not only about supporting student mobility, it is also about long-term learning journeys. To dive deeper into this topic, as you might already guess, I would like to invite 3 people to join me on the stage, each of them representing a different stage in an Erasmus Plus journey. Our first speaker is a researcher and assistant lecturer at the Autonomous University of Madrid. She holds a PhD in business economics, teaches at the university, and is currently involved in 3 projects funded by European funds. Please welcome to the stage Adriana Perez Encinas. The next speaker is originally from Slovakia, but he moved... You already know. I know you have a spoiler behind me, but let's wait for a bit. The next speaker is originally from Slovakia, but he moved to Gothenburg, Sweden, to pursue a master's degree in architecture and urban design. At the moment, he's working on his thesis on self-organization in cities, and is serving as the president of ESN Sweden. Give a round of applause for Niki Jaško. Last but not least, we have a third-year bachelor student studying business administration at Kiel University in Germany. And before February this year, he had never lived outside of Germany. And now he is enjoying his exchange semester in Split, Croatia. Please welcome Moritz Marveder. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. Nice to meet you, also see some of you again after some years. First of all, how are you feeling? Are you good? Are you excited to be at EGM Split 2026? I only see nods and smiles, so I think that's a yes. I would like to start with a question for all of you. And here's a little challenge. Try to tell us in 1 sentence, what made you start your Erasmus Plus journey? Adriana, you want to start?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to be here, first of all. It's going to be difficult to say it in 1 sentence, because I think my journey started when I was very little in my hometown, when there were not many international opportunities or possibilities. So thanks, my hometown in Spain, in El Bierzo, I don't know, is in the St. Jacob's way, in the Pilgrim's Way. So there were a lot of international pilgrims going around, so I was always surrounded by internationals. Then I got some international experience myself in Ireland when I was very little, and I think, so I think it was just this curiosity that I had it, even though it was not an offering in the institutions that my home city offered, but it was just the surroundings of these pilgrims or the opportunities that my parents also gave me to go to Ireland made me this appetite for going on mobility. But I didn't know if it was going to be Erasmus, but I knew it was going to be a mobility.
Thank you so much.
And my story is a little bit more boring than this, but I realized quite early I would like to do my master's abroad, and studying abroad with Erasmus Plus seemed like a very nice experience to try it out, what it is like before I do it for a longer period of time. So that was how I decided to go to Lithuania.
To Lithuania? I don't know if you heard him.
Yeah, as you've already mentioned in my introduction, I've never lived outside of Germany, but since I can imagine myself living in another European country in the future, I thought, why not start early, what I'm studying when I'm young, when it's easy.
Thank you very much. Almost one sentence. But thank you for sharing your stories. And now I have a question for you, Moritz. This is your first ever international experience, your first Erasmus. So I know you've only been here for 2 months or so, but do you maybe already know what has been a moment during your Erasmus experience that made you realize that this is maybe more than just studying abroad?
I think the moment that stayed in my mind the most predominant was probably in my 3rd week of Erasmus, and we were celebrating 2 French students, also Erasmus students, finishing their master's applications. And since it was under the week, everything closed down at midnight already. But since we didn't want to stop at midnight already celebrating, we just went to the nearest beach, Bad Schwitze Beach, and we just sat there for multiple hours talking, listening to the waves, playing volleyball, and in general just having incredibly much fun. And at this moment, I just had like a really big feeling of belonging, and it felt like we've known each other for quite a while, even though we were 7 people from 5 different nations, and we've just met a few days or weeks earlier. Yet it still felt like we have all connected, and yeah, we've all known each other for a long time already.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think we can all agree here, whether it comes to Erasmus Plus, student mobility, or simply volunteering in ESN, it somehow comes back down to people and the moments these people bring you. And Nikki, now you are the president of ESN Sweden, and you have been volunteering in ESN for quite some time. So after your Erasmus, you also got involved even more to make other people's Erasmus experiences even better. So my question would be, what made you go from living the Erasmus experience to then wanting to stay involved through ESN?
Yeah, I think you ended it nicely summing up Moritz's answer, that the people, of course, it's always the people. And I was surrounded by people that engaged in knowing different cultures, backgrounds, which is presumably why people go on mobilities, of course. And I really enjoyed being in such an environment with a lot of understanding, and then at the end of the day we disagreed with things a lot of the times, but it always came with this understanding. And then ESN was there throughout this whole journey, giving us a hand, helping us every time we needed it, and I wanted to contribute to that community after returning back home. So actually, before I even returned from my mobility, I already reached out to my local section to join. And that was 4 years ago. So now I'm here, second time on the national level, and I've come to realize that, at least from my perspective, this understanding is really at the core of what we do. As really one of the many stakeholders in youth and international higher education, I do really see our role as helping decision makers understand and take into account the perspective of international students.
Okay, thank you so much. So you couldn't wait. You already during your Erasmus, you were like, how can I join? How can I do this more? And Adriana, when did you realize that your Erasmus experience had an impact beyond your student life? Because now you are still quite involved in the student mobility world.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was when I started first to look for a job. So I started to look for a job, and then I got offered, I remember back in the time, like an internship, and also a great opportunity for, in Spain we have from the Chamber of Commerce, they award 25 students in Spain to do a master in international relations and business, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that because when I sent the CV, I was like any other candidate, right? But when I went to the interview, they asked me a lot in both cases, in this internship, and then afterwards he became like the head of the international office. But in both interviews, they asked me a lot about the international experience. They wanted to know more. So then I thought, okay, this is very interesting and I think this is a message that we are promoting also within these Erasmus projects, that it's not enough sometimes just to say in the CV, I've been there, I've been in Split, I've been in Madrid. You have to say something else. You have to add more to that, to the CV. Even though, I mean, of course, you are gonna shine more in the moment that you will be invited for an interview, and then you can express much more of what you have been doing. So I think that was the first time. And then, well, now looking back forward, all these professional skills that I gained by being, back in the time, very involved in ESN as NR, I think it was just the communication skills that you also mentioned. I was maybe not super shy, but I was not going to speak in public or very comfortable in the past to speak in public like I'm doing now. It's not that you are not intimidating, which you are. It's a big crowd here. It's amazing. But I think actually this is I see it growing and growing more in ESN and these professionalization skills that I could only reflect on them now looking back forward. And this is only one of many others.
So you're also another real-life example that employers really do seek to tell them more about how your mobility experience contributed to who you are now in a professional world as well.
Yeah, for sure. But I will, after some research that we have been conducting, I will suggest that it's important to highlight it more. It's not it's not enough just to say the languages you speak and where you have been. You have to highlight it in a motivation letter or something else much more.
Mental note, everyone here, to keep in mind for the future. And now I have another question for all of you. And that is, what is one thing that Erasmus Plus gave you that you didn't expect? And we can maybe start with Nikki.
First of all, I have to say ESN. I think that's a given every time. And second of all, I think the Erasmus Plus experience is usually rather short, and a lot of it just happens here now. And I think you get an idea and you just do it. You don't wait. You go from I would like to do something to I want to do this and I am doing this. And so it really gave me that idea of just being more spontaneous and realizing that now is a good time to do anything I want.
You mentioned that it gave you ESN, but what did ESN give you? Is there anything else on top of your mind now as the president of one of the countries?
A great international community, so many friends, and a family, of course.
I surprised him a little bit, but he found his way to the perfect answer. And then Moritz, do you want to share what was one thing that Erasmus Plus gave you so far? I know you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, but one thing I noticed immediately was that having been an introvert for most of my life, I was pretty scared to come here actually and know nobody in a different country I've never been to. But the first day I arrived and the first time I met Erasmus students, I met that all of them are incredibly open and that it's super easy to talk to them, go out, socialize. And since my time here, I've actually become somewhat of an extrovert, which I would have never expected. And yeah, just the possibility to connect with people so easily, which I've never felt in Germany. So that's the thing I didn't expect the most, I think.
Amazing. So you feel yourself becoming more of an extrovert, okay? Anyone else had felt this on their Erasmus or student mobility? Did you become more of an extrovert? Okay. You see some potential new friends here. And last but not least, Adriana.
Well, Erasmus?
What did Erasmus Plus give you that you didn't expect?
I would like to, I can mention here two things that has been giving me this living community, but in two senses. One is a bit personal. It gave me, actually the Erasmus opportunity, it gave me a husband and 2 kids. So, and they are not only Erasmus, they are ESN.
The kids?
So, yeah. I left it for the end, I told you. So that's the personal thing, but on the professional level, I will say many things, right? But one of the things that I was not probably thinking about or expecting was to continue being so involved in working in European projects with ESN International and amongst others as a great promoter of all of these opportunities. I cannot be more than thankful and grateful for all the knowledge going on there. So that will be the European projects part.
Amazing. And one little question for the end. Do you expect your kids to join ESN one day?
That's a good question. Now, yeah, for sure. I would like that they will be fully ESNers, yeah. But I don't want to know what they do. I just want that they live the experience.
Well, thank you all. Thank you for sharing your perspectives and your stories and sharing a little piece of your Erasmus experience here with us today. And for all of you, I hope you heard everything they're saying. I hope you heard how important it is that you are loud and clear about the skills and competencies and experiences that student mobility gives you, because it is truly valuable. We heard it, and it is valuable in the labor market and for your professional lives. So please give one big round of applause for all three of our speakers once again. Thank you. Now we can, from there. this performance you just witnessed, and I hope enjoyed, it is a part of one of the oldest, founded in 1919, and one of the most successful cultural and artistic associations in the Republic of Croatia. This folklore ensemble is called Jedinstvo, which translates to unity. Please, let's give them another round of applause. And before we open the 5th edition of the Erasmus Generation meeting, we will take a short break. I know you're all eagerly waiting for the moment when we open this 5th EGM, but it's just a 10-minute break, okay? So see you very soon, grab a refreshment, take some fresh air, and be back in 10 minutes. Prvom pričat. Nema ništa. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, test. A mislim da se čuje nešto. Mislim, ja se... 1, 2, 1, 2, test. Ok, može. Mislim da ok. Pokušavam ne preglasno. Može. Hello again. Welcome back. I hope everyone found their seats again and that we can continue and slowly go towards opening this fifth EGM. ESN being such a large network, I mean clearly, but there's also many more of us all across Europe, spread across 44 countries, and also further, even outside of Europe. And because of this, there was a need for a structure that would allow an easy flow of information between volunteers and different levels of the organization, but also best practice sharing. And this is why ESN is divided into 5 geographical regions, which are all present here today. So I am curious to hear which one is the loudest. I have to be honest, it's the nicest to okay. I see the excitement. Is that Turkey? No? It's definitely the nicest to hear you all shout all together, but let's see which one of the 5 regions is the loudest, just for the fun of it. Are you ready? Let's start with the West. Where is Web? Okay. I can see you took this very seriously. Okay. And what about our biggest region in the southeast? Where is SEEP? Okay. Okay. Impressive. Okay, let's go to the third region. I would love to hear you shout more, but let's give the stage for the other ones a little bit as well. Let's travel to the Baltics and Scandinavia. NEP, where are you? Amazing. And we go back to the south now. Where is SWEP? Oh wow, they came with the music. Okay, thank you. And you know what's coming next? Tip, let me hear you. I don't know about you, but to me, everyone was so loud that there was absolutely no difference by this point. I think this hall is too small for us. It's too small for the Erasmus generation. And now I have a question for all of you. Who was at EGM Ancona 2025? Thank you. It was at Italy and SWEP. Thank you. Well, now it's only right that we relive those memories together.
Welcome to the Erasmus Generation Meeting at Ancona 2025.
Wow, what a throwback to the 4th edition of the Erasmus Generation meeting. And now already for half a decade, EGM has been a place for celebration of mobility, but also the biggest meeting point for Erasmus Plus alumni. So far, we have gathered in Porto, in Bucharest, in Seville, and in Ancona. And now the road has led us to the other side of the Adriatic coast, to Split. I know we are only just starting, but how do you like this EGM so far? For months already, these people have been working tirelessly, day and night, perfecting every detail to make sure Split is ready to welcome more than 1,000 of you to their city. They were all led by determination and love for student mobility. I'm sure you saw their names in emails and messages because they have been supporting the participants of this event before it even started. And they were all coordinated by one person. To officially welcome the Erasmus generation to their city, I present to you the brain behind the operation, the head of the organizing committee of EGM Split 2026, Daniela Bilonic.
Wow, it really is happening. Dobrodošli u Split! Dear guests, dear friends of ESN and ESN volunteers, there are moments in life when you realize you are exactly where you are meant to be. Not because everything is certain, but because everything is possible. Today, here in Split, surrounded by the Adriatic Sea and the city's rich history, most notably the UNESCO-listed Diocletian's Palace, we are not just opening a conference, we are also writing history by bringing the biggest student-led conference of Europe to our country, to our city, to our university, and to our home. We are creating a hub for connection, for courage, and for change. Erasmus is not just a program. It is a feeling, a friendship, a challenge. After all, it means leaving the comfort zone and implies removing barriers and borders. It becomes a place where strangers become family. Over the next few days, we invite you to be honest, to listen deeply, share boldly, to challenge and to be challenged. Create something that will outlive this moment. Because one day you will look back at this point in time, and you probably won't remember what was said, but you will remember how it felt to belong, to connect, to believe, and to shape something bigger. In the name of the organizing committee, I would finally like to say welcome to the Erasmus Generation Meeting Split 2026.
Thank you, Danka, and thank you, ESN Split, for the warm welcome and for bringing us all together in the south of Croatia. Maybe you already know that not all volunteers behind the organization of this event are from Croatia. They also come from different parts of Europe. More than 10 nationalities have been working together behind the scenes of EGM Split 2026. I believe it is safe to say that this event is a true representation of unity in diversity. As someone whose work is focused on the volunteers and the local associations of ESN Croatia, the soul of our organization, his heart is probably screaming with pride for all the volunteers making this conference happen. Please welcome to the stage the Vice President of ESN Croatia, Matej Tibor.
Respected authorities and partners, representatives of higher education institutions and national agencies, alliances, and dear ESN volunteers. I'm standing here not only as a representative of ESN Croatia, but also as a representative of all of those volunteers who know that volunteering is so much more than what still some perceive as working for free. During my recruitment in ESN, I was told that the more you give to ESN, the more you will receive back. At the time, I didn't fully understand what it meant, but now looking back on it, I believe I do. I have a student job in the HR department thanks to the HR roles I held in ESN. I became a non-formal education trainer thanks to the ESN's training of trainers. But most importantly, I met people with whom I share a vision of positive change and who I now call friends, all thanks to what some may still call working for free. This is my example of how this is the association that through volunteering and mobility keeps on shaping not only skills, but also knowledge and values. Throughout my experience in ESN, I've noticed two important things that I want to share with you today. First, volunteers that share common vision can move mountains together. And to give you a bit of context, I remember the first time the organizing committee presented their idea for organizing EGM in Split. That happened almost 2 years ago, and what then felt like a small idea, well, now it grew into something we're all experiencing right now. Without volunteering, without friendship, without developing competences, this would not have been possible. And now I am extremely proud to see what those people created, as this showcases the real power of growing through volunteering. Secondly, the work of non-governmental organizations matters. Last year, I met a group of international students who were on their Erasmus study exchange in Croatia. They approached me and said that they had the best experience of their lives in Croatia. They told me about all the new words they learned, all about the places they visited, all about the funny experiences that they had. What I heard behind all of their experiences, behind the story, was ESN is once again succeeding in making Croatia feel like home and turning international students into ambassadors of intercultural understanding. These two examples are the reasons we are here in Split today, to celebrate the unity in diversity and to highlight that student mobility and volunteering truly does shape skills. Thank you to our stakeholders for recognizing that this is the association that wants to and will change the world by starting with small actions and ending with big impact. And thank you to volunteers for making this happen. I invite all of you to take this event as an opportunity to make new friendships, develop your competences, collaborate on new ideas, and most importantly, set your path towards becoming change makers. Welcome to Croatia. Enjoy your stay in Split. Thank you.
Thank you, Matej. And thank you, ESN Croatia, for bringing the Erasmus generation home, to our home. The moment has come. Tell me, are you ready to finally open the Erasmus Generation Meeting Split 2026? From organizing EGM last year to working in the heart of Europe and in the heart of ESN, please give it up for our one and only Mr. President, Simone Lepore.
Excellencies, dear authorities and partners, dear organizing committee and volunteers, dear content team, dear members of this network. It is a great honor to stand in front of you today and to address you as the president of the Erasmus Student Network as we open the 5th edition of the Erasmus Generation Meeting. Almost 1 year ago, together with thousands of volunteers, I had the privilege of organizing the Erasmus Generation Meeting in Ancona. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming you here in Split. Ancona and Split are separated by the Adriatic Sea by only a few hours, and they told me that in Croatian you say that when the weather is good, you can even see the Italian coast from here. But actually, those cities are not just connected by geography. For centuries, they have been gateways for meeting among cultures, for ideas to travel, and for people to discover one another. The sea between them has never been a barrier, but it has been a space of cooperation. And in many ways, what we are doing here today continues the same tradition, because this conference is above all about connection. It is about choosing to move, to learn, and to grow together. It is about building bridges, not only between countries, but between people, between perspective, experiences, and futures. Dear Erasmus generation, we often speak about a vision of a world in which education, knowledge, and skills may move freely across borders. But this vision is not abstract. It is built through very real people, through very real experiences, and very real choices. The Erasmus Generation Meeting represents exactly that. It brings together students and alumni, universities and their staff, institutions and partners, all connected by the same belief that cooperation is stronger than isolation, that learning does not stop at the border of a country. And this year, this vision became even more tangible. For the first time, this event opened its door wider than ever before. For the first time, we are not just going to welcome our volunteers, our partners, but we are going to open the door of EGM to local and international students of Split. And this matters because the Erasmus generation is not something exclusive. It is not something defined by belonging to a structure, but is a shared mindset of openness, curiosity, and the desire to engage with the world. At the heart of this meeting lies an important reflection: how student engagement through mobility and volunteering shape the development of young people. These experiences help students grow in many ways. They build essential skills for the future, and we saw throughout the panel, communication, adaptability, teamwork, initiative, among others. These expose individuals to new environment, new systems, and new way of thinking. But their values goes far beyond something that can be easily measured. In a time in which mobility, it is often discussed in terms of economic outcomes and competitiveness, we are here to remind ourselves of something fundamental. Mobility is first and foremost about people. It is about understanding differences without fear. It is about discovering common grounds where we less expected it. It is about returning home, not just with a different knowledge, but with a wider perspective of the world and of ourselves. As Sofia Corradi highlighted, students who experience mobility often come back with greater confidence, a stronger appreciation of their own identity, and the ability to engage constructively with those who think differently. This is not a second outcome, but is the core of why mobility matters. At the same time, we must acknowledge the realities behind this experience. Mobility and volunteering, yes, they are opportunities, but most of the time, they're challenges. Many students who began this journey make significant sacrifices. They navigate financial constraint, administrative barriers, and uncertainty. They leave behind their comfort zones, their families, and their roots to step into something different and unknown. And many volunteers dedicate their time and their energy while jangling between academic commitments, personal problems, and the desire to contribute to something more meaningful. This is resilience, and this deserves to be recognized, because behind every successful mobility story, there is effort. Behind every active volunteer, there is commitment. Behind every statistics, there are persons. This is why the recognition of student engagement is not just a question of visibility, but is a question of fairness. The competencies developed through mobility and volunteering must be acknowledged not only in words, but in systems. They must be valued by every institution, by every employer, and by the society. They must be integrated into the way we understand learning, and not only as a formal education, but as the combination of formal, non-formal, and informal experiences. As a former president of ESN would say, dear friends, let me tell you a story. A few months ago, during an event that ESN organized with a partner, after a long day of activities, late in the evening, I noticed that in one of the rooms of the participants, there was still the light on. Inside, there was a student who could not sleep. When I asked him why, he told me that he was too excited. Despite being 26 years old, it was his first time leaving his country. It was his first time taking a plane. What impressed me the most was not what he said, but how he said it. There was a sense of wonder, of discovery, of possibility. That moment cannot be captured by a transcript of record or by a learning agreement. This cannot be qualified in credits, and yet it represents something essential. It represents the impact of our network. Dear Erasmus generation, this event represents your moment to exchange ideas, to challenge perspectives, and to contribute to shape the future of mobility and education. This is your moment to bring forward the voices of your communities, their aspirations, their concerns, and their ideas. It is your moment to work together across roles and backgrounds, with the shared goal of making this opportunity better, more inclusive, and more impactful. What starts here does not end here. This conversation you will have, the connections you will create, and the ideas you will develop have the potential to influence the future experiences of many students who are not here in this room. As we open the new edition of the Erasmus Generation meeting, let us remain grounded to what defines us. We are a community founded by the principle of student helping students. We are a network driven by purpose. We are a generation that believes that cooperation, openness, and education will shape a better future. And as long as there are students who face barriers to access this opportunity, as long as there are experiences that can be improved, as long as there are voices that can be heard, our work continues stronger than ever. With this in mind, it is my great honor to officially open the Erasmus Generation Meeting Split 2026. Dobrodošli na EGM Split 2026.
You heard it all. For the next 4 days, Split will be your home, the home of the Erasmus generation. Make every second count. Ask questions during the sessions. Support each other's work during the expo. Share your ideas and best practices. Approach that person you really want to talk to. It all started with Erasmus, but we cannot let it end there. Only together can we show the world how to be the positive change. Because we know that difference is not a reason for division. A good friend of mine once said, "What brings the mightiest change are the smallest acts of students helping students." Thank you everyone for a wonderful afternoon. I wish you a productive weekend, full of new connections and lifelong memories. Until next time.